From telecom now, let's switch gears and talk about pharmaceuticals. And, you know, there's been an increase in the number of observations for pharma companies. The frequency of observations is only getting up. So the question really is USFDA getting stricter again after a hiatus of about 4 to 5 years? Let's welcome on board Amit Rajan. He's the MD at Prosfora Technologies. And we also have with us Surajit Pal from Prabhudas, Lilladher joining in. Gentlemen, morning. Amit, if I could start off the discussion with you. Could you talk about the recent USFDA moves in the Form 483s? Do you think FDA is getting stricter after 3 to 4 years of the trend of big plants getting cleared?
Good morning. See, I have always been discussing with you in the studios as well that, see, your concerns that FDA inspection is getting stricter is not correct. FDA has been inspecting by the same standards since last 10-15 years. Only thing is the frequency of inspection has increased because there is a JADUFA fee scheme now, so you pay for the inspection and FDA doesn't delay the inspection. Number of ANDAs are filing has increased. So the PAI inspections, like if you see Biocon, there's always been a 3 PAI inspection at their site because every time they file a new biosimilar, audit has to happen at the site. What has happened is last year the tide was turning in terms of easing out on the generic pricing pressure because of the now the incumbent FDA commissioner, huge relaxation in terms of generic barrier guideline getting a little bit more practical. However, see, again, Indian pharma has not played their own bit. They have really not worked on the compliance that they should have worked on. And the biggest problem that I see from my perspective is that, you know, whenever you when FDA comes out with an observation, you come out with a say that I have a very little stake from that plant in the US. That's not it works with the FDA. I mean, quality is not is either black or white. It is not grey. So only when you have a cephalosporin business getting down in US and you don't have much stake in the business, this doesn't mean that whatever cephalosporin you produce for the US market in your Indian plant need not comply to the FDA requirements. So we have not played our bait. We have been slipping on our compliance, and even if the tide was turning with respect to pricing pressure easing down, our own GMP and compliance problems have really let us down.
Pharma companies, Amit, last time when we spoke, you also said that at least the top 2-3 companies, they've hired fine consultants. They've hired the best whatever money can buy in terms of talent. And the problem is that even though they're ready to invest, they're cooperating with the USFDA process, either they are not getting hang of it or they are not taking it seriously.
No, Nikunj, see, yes, we discussed that they really got the best of the talents from the industry to help them in terms of compliance. But again, I come back to my biggest concern from Indian pharma is the aseptic manufacturing. Sterile is something where the consultants will not be able to tell you. It is your practice, your in-house people who have to learn, practice and deliver injectable product. If you see the spate of USFDA observations that's coming in last 3 months, whether it was Lupin or a Aurobindo or a Biocon, these are all sterile manufacturing units, and they have not learned the lesson because, see, practices is something which we have to change our internal culture. Consultants are only going to train you on your writing the SOPs or the protocols on how the way things have to be done, but actual practices have to be improved by us, the staffs working on the soft floor.
Surajit Pal, who joins in from Prabhudas, Lilladher. Surajit, from an investor standpoint, we're looking at the FDA chief as well resigning in that sudden move. The pace of approvals has slowed down. We were just talking with Amit as well about how, you know, the FDA is getting stricter, you know, after the trends of 3 or 4 big plants being cleared. From an investor standpoint, how should they look at all of these developments?
I think it is more of a company specific rather than industry specific, because we have seen, say, last 1 year, you know, USFDA has cleared a lot of plants, despite the fact that some of the companies, some plants are still stuck in the same area. So which means is that the practices are very much specific to companies' internal way of dealing with it. So from investor perspective, definitely this development as far as Lupin is concerned is very surprising, because given the track record of Lupin, at least I didn't expect this much. And as far as sterile is concerned, I think Lupin hardly have any product from sterile, so it is only the new thing they have applied, and some of the few are pending over there. And most of the plant out of the 4, I think 1 plant only have a sterile activities, and other rest of the 3 are no more in sterile. So as a result of it, this kind of non-sterile plants getting stuck for such a long time is really surprising. So I believe organizationally there must be some issues where the proper communication from top to bottom or bottom to top has somewhere creating some kind of lacunae, and this is the end result of it.
Okay. Surajit, then going forward, what exactly is your outlook? Because investors did traditionally make returns in, some of these companies that have a strong base in the US markets, Alchem, Loris, all of a small base in the US. Do you think that that strategy will continue to work?
I think still, I mean, despite all those competitions, Indian companies are having good profit out of it. I mean, provided you maintain the compliability with the USFDA, and I expect the medium to small guys will enter more and more given the kind of speedy approval has been given. So guys like IPCA, guys like Alchem, guys like Strides, so they will be entering more and more with approval of the plant as well as the product. So that will increase the competition. But still, if Lupin kind of guys who have already seen the worst in their key products, I thought that they are coming almost at the end of their downgrade or the kind of double-digit decline of their sales. So that is the time, or this is the time where they could see some upgradation. But during that time, if they could not maintain their plant as per USFDA compliance, then definitely it is a double down. So again, getting approvals, say almost every plant will take around 12 months time to resolution, assuming everything is positive as expected. Then also you will be losing relevance, a lot of pending approvals by the time you will be getting. So I think launching specialty with increasing overheads, particularly promotion and initial 18 months of no profit, no loss kind of scenario, I think it's a really double negative for any companies like Lupin.
Surajit, so to take this point forward on Lupin, first they got an EIR. We thought that the Goa problem got sorted, all the US challenges were behind us, and then it is going to be only pricing trajectory which will decide the future of Lupin and for other company. Now we've heard this new terminology where they've given an warning letter. It's not a warning letter, but it is an indication which says that if you don't get your act together, future approvals will not come through. So how should one read into first an EIR and then this latest development? I mean, just break it for our viewers. You may understand it, but some of our viewers may not.
See, what happened is that if I go by what the statement made by Scott Gottlieb on various occasions, particularly after Sartan got caught them off guard. So he clearly said is that earlier what used to happen is that they used to visit CGMP audit for every plant once in 2 years. Now what happened is that because of this growing concern on the quality maintenance across the world, so they have decided as it when, even if they go for, say for example, any process related audit or product approval related audit, they also do the CGMP audit then and there along with that. So as a result of it, you are seeing so many reporting of overall CGMP issues of the plant, even if it is not completed 2 years from the last visit. So as a result of it, you will find more and more this kind of observations, and company will be always on their toes in terms of making it always compliable, not necessarily to be at the end of the 2 year. So definitely we can expect this kind of observations will keep coming on, but company will spend more money on maintaining the compliability, involving consultant on a regular basis rather than once in 2 year or whenever they are stuck, and they have to keep training their employees on the best practices worldwide in operational efficiencies. So which means is that their SGA cost will go up, which unlike it was earlier. as well as whatever the R&D cost plus the product promotion cost through specialty product that they will have to maintain. So definitely that will be pressure on their margin. But first they have to get their organization discipline into that area.
Amit, what is your outlook? Do you think that Indian pharma companies will again have to up their bar for the standards of the various plants to be better compliant? And what's the outlook on, re-inspection as well that's needed?
See, to answer Nikun's question on OI, the new terminology that's now people are getting, let me tell you in plain and simple terms, an OI is nothing but a warning letter. It's just a euphemism for that FDA is using now, so that people in pharma have represented FDA that let's not use this harsh language, and OI is nothing but a warning letter. This means that no DMF or no ANDA that is filed from that facility can be taken for review. But however, there's absolutely no stoppage on supplies as long as you don't get an import alert. So that's there on OI. See, as Mr. Surajit was telling you, as I have been always maintaining, you keep working, you keep supplying in FDA, you make mistakes, FDA will keep coming on a routine basis and gives you an observation. But no, all big pharma, including Lupin, Sun, Aurobindo, now they should have gone to a level where they should not get the OI status of any plant to get cleared. Their compliance levels have really gone high in last 2-3 years. They have put in a lot of money, a lot of good people have been recruited. Only thing is that, as I told you in the beginning, that there has been an approach now that companies who have very less stake in some of the products and they have shifted to another facility, they have not been kept at par with the same compliance status as the USFDA current requirements, and there was getting caught and getting bad name. Cephalosporin sterile API and normal oral product at Mandi Lupin was one of this case. So I think there is nothing to be panic about. These are observations which FDA gives you. Only thing is that we must move towards an NAI status rather than a VAI or a OI status. I am absolutely clear that big pharma probably is working in a very compliant way. Only thing is then they have to really put in a lot of sincere efforts in dotting their I's and crossing their T's, which they are not doing, and they are getting bad names and investors get worried. However, aseptic practices, yes, I always remain concerned about this. Any company which will have an exposure on injectable from India will get a cyclical pain and pressure news that you have been getting.
All right, gentlemen, we'll let you go on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and giving us a sense as to what all of this news flow means for pharma companies and how they, as well as the investors, should approach it.